Here's 4 tips you can use right away in terms of your dating and your profiles and how to put yourself out there in a more productive way to attract that type of individual that you're likely looking for. A quality person who's looking for a relationship, is sincere about their processes. First and foremost, number one, you want to have good pictures. Good pictures doesn't mean you have to have a professional photographer. What it means is that you want pictures that represent who you are. And that means current pictures within about a year. And it's okay in a profile where there's an opportunity for multiple photos for you to have an older picture, a nostalgic picture, or something like that. But we really want a picture of your face. You want a picture of your entire body. It would be great if you have a picture of yourself doing some activity that you love. I tend to encourage people to stay away from posting pictures with their children or a lot of group photos because someone can look at a group photo and they may not know who's who. And they're like, oh, what are you showing me? Unless you're just trying to show I have a big family, but you never want to try and put a picture of a group photo up as, oh, pick me out of this photo. This is because you look good in that picture or something like that. So represent yourself properly. Show that you have put some effort in actually to representing yourself. Number two, you want to make sure that your profile is complete. Someone who just puts, ask me more questions or something like that, that's not going to get it done. Someone who's serious about a relationship and dating is going to take the time to fill out their profile. It's pretty much that simple. So make sure you take the time to go through the profile and answer the questions and make up a thoughtful statement about yourself, whatever the app or the dating site asks of you to do. The third thing you want to do is really change your mindset about interacting with people. A lot of times we get cynical. This is why I'm focusing on the midlife dating piece, because we think we know it all. And we've been there, done that, and we can be extremely judgmental and cynical, and we just swipe like crazy. And something I'd like you women especially to think about is that in our culture, we are allowed and encouraged, and we're always taking pictures and we'll document our food, we'll document every party we go to, we document our vacations, we document ourselves out with our girlfriends, we document ourselves, doing this and that, and nobody thinks twice about it. Men don't do that. Men are not out and about documenting every moment on their camera. They just don't do it. So when it comes to photos on dating sites, you are going to see a lot more pictures of men doing selfies in the bathroom. You're going to see guys with their hunting or fishing pictures. You're going to see, not always, there is a percentage of the men who are going to go through the effort to have high quality photos created, but you really want to be a little more forgiving about the photos when it comes to men. You want current photos, of course, but don't hold a hard line if you see a man with a hunting or fishing picture, for instance, because that's the time they're given permission to show their accomplishment and to show what they're into. So just be forgiving, be open-minded, and really look at these photos as giving people an opportunity to show who they are. And with men, you just want to be a little more generous, quite frankly, because a great person can still be behind the picture, even though they're not skilled at selfies and taking pictures of themselves and things like that. And number three, you want to date with an intention to meet, not an intention to marry. But there are some qualifications you want to go through before you ever go on a date with someone. The first thing is when you're texting on the app or on the dating site, you want to make sure that there is a connection and that the conversation is flowing relatively easy, or that if you have some questions you'd like to ask, that they answer them readily with eagerness, because someone who's interested is going to give you the information you need. So for instance, when I have been on dating sites in the past, I always wanted to know how long they've been single, Because let's face it, if you haven't been single very long or you're just coming out of a relationship, you're still working through it. You're still in the thick of healing. And it's not that you can't come to a relationship with have to be 100% healed. No, but you do want enough, enough space in between the injury and a new experience that that person's really going to be available and not really stuck in the past. So that's one of the first questions I ask. How long have you been single? And then I always kind of want to know, how did it end? And how did you make sense of that? Because I think if someone's like, oh, that person was a complete a-hole or whatever, and they're completely blaming the other person in every way, it shows a little bit of a lack of self-awareness. And it's just like, oh, it's the person. And sometimes there is a really huge problem that occurred, but we want to know that that person has also learned why they picked that person who was so disastrous, right? The other things I think we want to know is what they're looking for. That's not nothing. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a good time? Are you looking for a lifetime partner? And if someone says to you, well, I'm kind of open to anything, that's not a good thing. We want someone who actually has an objective in mind of where they're trying to get. Because otherwise, you're probably looking at somebody who's a little bit of a player and just trying to hook you on. So, and then lastly, it's like before you ever meet someone, I highly encourage you to get on the phone, because that's the next level of sensing the compatibility and how the communication flows, and things that you couldn't get on text and email exchange, you'll often pick up in the voice interaction. So if you can do those four things, I think you'll have a lot better success when you meet people in person, because you've pre-qualified them in a certain way, and you have you've just seen that, all right, the basics are in place and we seem to have a good conversational style, and then you can go from there. All right. I hope you find this helpful. Have a wonderful day.